Welcome to JVC English Learning Academy. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more English stories. Hello, my name is Laura, and today I want to talk to you about how to practice English at home in a way that is easy, calm, and possible for everyone. Even if you are busy or tired, even if you feel shy, and even if you think your English is not good yet, I want you to imagine this. You are sitting in your favorite place at home. Maybe on your bed, maybe in a chair, maybe by the window. You have a small notebook, a pen, maybe a book or your phone, and you are ready to learn English step by step, without pressure and without fear. Your home can be your best classroom, even if it is small, even if it is noisy, and even if you do not have special tools. The first thing you need is not a book, not an app, not a course. The first thing you need is a small, simple plan that your brain can accept. For example, you can decide to practice every day for 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes, not 2 hours, not 3 hours, just a little time that you can really do. Choose a time that feels natural. Maybe after breakfast, before sleep, or when you drink tea. Repeat this time again and again because your brain loves routine. When I first made my plan, I felt scared. I thought, what if I cannot follow it? What if I fail again? But I told myself this time the plan will be very small. So small that I cannot say no. And that helped me a lot. The next thing is to choose one main place for practice. It does not have to be perfect. Maybe it is a corner of your bed, a small table in the kitchen, or the floor near the window. Just choose one place and tell your brain, this is my English place. When I sit here, I learn. When I sit here, I read and speak. I had a small table near my window. It was not beautiful. It was old, but it was my English place. I put one notebook there, one pen, and sometimes one simple book. When I saw that table, my brain remembered practice time, and it became easier to start. One of the easiest ways to practice at home is reading out loud. Take a short text, maybe a story, a short article, or a page from a book, and read the words with your voice, not only in your head. It will feel strange at first. Maybe you will feel shy. Maybe you think your pronunciation is bad. But nobody is watching you at home. Nobody is judging you. It is just you and the words. When I started reading out loud, my tongue felt heavy, my mouth felt slow. But after some days, my mouth started to move more easily. The sounds became familiar, and my voice did not shake so much. Another simple way to practice at home is your home talking time. This is a small time when you talk to yourself in English about normal things in your day. You do not need a partner. For example, when you are cooking, you can say, I am cutting the tomatoes now. I am washing the rice. I am putting salt in the pan. When you are cleaning, you can say, I am sweeping the floor. I am washing the dishes. I am folding the clothes. These sentences are very simple, but they are powerful because they connect English with your real life. I had this home talking time when I brushed my teeth. I would look in the mirror and say simple things. Hello, Ariel, how are you today? You look tired, but you are doing your best. Today you will practice for 15 minutes. And that is enough. It felt funny. I laughed at myself. But it also gave me courage. Another tool is listening. You do not need many things for this. You can use your phone, computer, or even a small old device. Choose short audio that you like. Maybe a story in simple English, a short podcast, or a video from JBC English Learning Academy. Listen to the same audio many times. The first time, just relax and feel the sound. The second time, try to catch some words. The third time, repeat some sentences after the speaker. Pause, speak, then play again. This is something I did a lot. I had one favorite story. I listened to it so many times that I almost knew every word. This was good because my brain was comfortable and my tongue learned the rhythm. At home, this type of deep listening is very powerful. You do not need many audios, just a few that you really like and that you repeat many times. Some people feel bored quickly, but if you choose topics you love like cooking, travel, games, or stories, it will feel much easier. The last thing I want to share in this first part is about feelings. At home, you are not only fighting with grammar, you are also fighting with your own thoughts. Maybe you think I am too slow. I am too old. I am too busy. My house is too noisy. My family will laugh at my English. I understand these thoughts very well. I had them too. But try something gentle. When these thoughts come, do not shout at yourself. Just say softly, I hear you. But I will still practice for 10 minutes. I do not need to be perfect today. I just need to show up. I just need to try. This gentle voice inside you is very important. It will help you come back again tomorrow, even if today was difficult. Remember, your home is not a test room. Your home is your practice garden. In a garden, plants grow slowly day by day. You water them a little, give them light, and one day you see a flower. Your English is like that. And your small daily practice at home is the water and the light. When you continue practicing at home, the next step is to include small speaking exercises that feel natural and fun. You do not need a teacher or a partner for this. You can use your phone or a recorder to help you record your voice and listen again. For example, you can take a short text, read it out loud, then record yourself reading it slowly. After that, listen carefully and notice the words that sound different or difficult. Try again and again until it feels comfortable. I did this when I was learning, and at first I laughed at my own mistakes, but slowly my voice became more confident and my pronunciation improved. Another great way to practice is shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a speaker and try to speak at the same time, copying the rhythm, the pronunciation, and the pauses. At home, I would choose a short story or a video, play it, and speak along. It was not easy at first. My mouth felt slow and my tongue did not move quickly, but I did not give up. After a few days, I noticed that I could speak faster and more naturally. Shadowing also helps your listening skills because you focus on the sounds and the way words connect in sentences. If you are shy, shadowing alone at home is perfect because no one is watching you. Another method I loved was writing simple sentences about my day. You do not need a perfect notebook. Just write short sentences about what you did, what you saw, or how you felt. For example, you can write, I am drinking tea. I am reading a book. I am happy today. When I started, I made many mistakes, but I did not worry. Every word I wrote helped my brain connect English with my thoughts. Over time, writing became easier and I could write longer sentences and even short stories. You can also make a small diary in English. Write 1 page a day, even if it is very simple. Your diary will become a treasure for your learning because you can look back and see your progress. Listening is another very important part of home practice. You do not need to understand everything. Just listen every day, even for 10 minutes. You can choose a short podcast, a song, or a video that you like. Listen carefully. Notice new words, repeat them, and try to use them in sentences. When I started, I could not understand many words, but my brain slowly recognized the sounds and my ears became familiar with English. Listening every day helps your brain think in English without translation. Another fun way to practice at home is to watch movies or series in English. Start with subtitles in English if you need them. Choose a movie you like and watch it carefully. Repeat the sentences that you hear. Try to imitate the actors' voices. When I did this, I chose simple movies at first and I repeated the same scenes many times. Slowly, I could understand more words, and I could speak some sentences by myself. You can also pause the movie and say the sentences yourself. This is a small practice, but it makes a big difference over time. Playing games in English is another way to practice at home. There are many language learning games online. They make learning fun and interesting. For example, you can play word games, memory games, or quizzes. I used to play simple word games when I was learning. It helped me remember new words in a fun way. You can also label things in your home with English words. Write the English word on a small paper and stick it on the object. For example, write door on the door, table on the table, mirror on the mirror. When you see these words every day, your brain learns them naturally. I did this, and it helped me a lot. Another tip is to think in English during small moments at home. For example, if you see a tree, say to yourself, tree, instead of using your native language. When you go to the kitchen, think of words for the things you see. I did this when I cleaned my room or cooked food. It was hard at first, but over time it became easier and my brain started to automatically connect English words with real objects. You can also talk about your plans in English at home. For example, today I will read a book. I will listen to a story. I will write 1 page. Speaking about your plan in English helps you think in English. I did this every morning before starting my practice. It made my day more organized, and it also helped my English improve faster. Another helpful method is to set small goals for yourself. For example, learn 5 new words a day, read 1 short story a day, or write 3 sentences every morning. I started with very small goals. Every time I completed a goal, I felt proud. Small victories give you motivation to continue. You can also use apps to practice at home. Many apps are available for free and they give you exercises for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I used an app to learn new words and practice pronunciation. I could practice anytime, anywhere, even if I had only 10 minutes. Remember, every small practice counts. Another way to practice is to pretend you are in different situations. For example, pretend you are in a restaurant and order food in English, or pretend you are buying something at the store. Speak to yourself as if you were talking to a real person. I practiced this when I was alone at home, and it helped me feel more confident to speak English with others in real life. Also, do not be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. I made many mistakes when I started, but each mistake was a lesson. I learned new words, better pronunciation, and more confidence. At home, you can practice safely and make mistakes without worry. Another method is to use flashcards. Write a word on one side and its meaning on the other. Test yourself every day. I used flashcards for new words and reviewed them often. This helped me remember words for a long time. You can also combine methods. For example, read a story out loud. Listen to it again. Write a short summary in your notebook and then talk about it to yourself. Combining reading, listening, writing, and speaking strengthens your English faster. Another important point is to take breaks. Learning at home is good, but your brain also needs rest. Do not push yourself too much. I took short breaks every 30 minutes. Sometimes I drank tea. Sometimes I walked in the room. These small breaks helped me stay focused and motivated. You can also practice by using English in your hobbies. For example, if you like cooking, follow a recipe in English. If you like music, listen to English songs and sing along. When I did this, I enjoyed learning without feeling forced. Your home can be full of small practice moments, and all these small moments add up. Remember, consistency is more important than quantity. 10 minutes every day is better than 2 hours once a week. When I practiced every day, my progress was slow at first, but it was steady, and after some months, I could see big improvements. Another tip is to review your old notes and writing. Go back and read what you wrote 1 week ago, 1 month ago, or longer. You will see your progress. I did this, and it gave me confidence to continue. Stay positive during your home practice. Your brain sometimes feels tired and your motivation may decrease, but remember, all your small efforts are building your English. I celebrated small victories like reading 1 page out loud without mistakes or speaking 3 sentences clearly. Every small success is important. You can also practice by thinking about your day in English before sleep. Review what you did, what you learned, and what you want to do tomorrow. I did this every night, and it helped me think in English naturally. Another way to practice at home is to use English in daily activities. For example, when brushing your teeth, say the steps in English. I am brushing my teeth. I am rinsing my mouth. Or when washing dishes, I am washing the dishes. I am drying them. I did this every day, and my English became part of my routine. You can also use online groups or communities to practice. Even if you are at home, you can chat with other learners, share small sentences, ask questions, and receive encouragement. I joined an online group, and it gave me extra motivation. Another tip is to read aloud with emotion. Do not just read the words. Try to feel the story, the feelings of the characters, and say it with your voice. When I did this, my reading became more fluent, and I could remember words better. Remember, your home is your practice space, your safe place, and your English garden. Every small action, every little practice, every short sentence, and every small story adds water and light to your English growth. When you continue practicing at home, it is important to use your imagination. You can create small stories in English, even if they are very simple. For example, You can imagine a day in your life or a short adventure with your favorite character. Write it in your notebook or just speak it aloud. I used to do this every evening. At first, my sentences were very short. Like I go to the market, I buy apples. But slowly, I added more details. I go to the market, I buy red apples. The apples are sweet and fresh. Creating small stories helps your brain think in English and makes learning more fun. Another very useful practice is repeating words and sentences. Every day, choose 5 or 10 words that you learned before and say them aloud many times. Then make small sentences with those words. For example, if the word is happy, you can say, I am happy today. My cat is happy. I feel happy when I read. Repetition helps your brain remember and your mouth becomes used to making the sounds of English. You can also practice by singing songs in English. Music is a very strong tool for learning. Choose a simple song and sing along. Do not worry about mistakes. When I started, I could not understand all the words, but I tried to sing. After a few weeks, I noticed that I could remember the words and my pronunciation improved. Another way to practice is to watch short videos and pause often. After one sentence, repeat it aloud. This way, you learn the rhythm, pronunciation, and natural expressions. I did this with my favorite videos. Sometimes I paused every 3 words. Sometimes I repeated whole sentences. It felt slow, but it helped a lot. Small steps make big improvements over time. You can also practice by teaching someone at home. Even if they do not know English, explain a word or a sentence to them. Teaching helps you remember. I used to explain simple words to my little brother. He laughed, but it helped me speak English with confidence. Another tip is to use sticky notes. Write new words and stick them on objects in your home. For example, mirror on the mirror, cup on the cup, window on the window. Every time you see the word, say it aloud. Your brain learns quickly this way. You can also practice thinking in English. When you do small actions like making tea or walking, say the steps in English. For example, I open the water bottle. I pour water in the cup. I add tea. When I started this, it felt strange. But after a few days it became natural. Another very important method is speaking to yourself about your feelings. For example, I feel happy today. I feel tired. I am excited to learn. When I did this every morning, it helped me connect English with my emotions and my speaking became easier. You can also practice by reading news or short articles in English. Even if you understand only a few words, your brain starts to recognize patterns. I started with very short articles and underlined words I did not know. Then I looked up their meaning and tried to use them in my own sentences. Another practice is using a vocabulary notebook. Write new words there, meaning, and one sentence with each word. I did this every day, and after 1 month, I had a notebook full of words I could use. You can also practice by writing emails to yourself. Write small notes, messages, or letters. For example, Dear Ariel, today I learned 5 new words. I practice speaking. I listened to a story. This is fun and helps you write and think in English. Another method is reading aloud and recording yourself. Then listen to your recording and compare it with the original audio. This helps with pronunciation and fluency. I used to do this every week. At first, my voice sounded strange, but after some time, I noticed improvements. You can also practice by imagining conversations. Pretend you are talking with a friend, a teacher, or even a famous person. Speak your sentences aloud. For example, hello, how are you? I am learning English at home. What do you do today? This helps you prepare for real conversations. Another tip is to set small challenges. For example, speak only in English for 10 minutes at home or write a short story using 5 new words. I did this every week and it pushed me to practice more. You can also practice by translating simple sentences from your language to English. Take one small sentence like I am drinking water and write it in English. Then say it aloud. This helps you think in English. Another method is to watch English cartoons or simple shows. They are easy to understand and the words are clear. Repeat the sentences and try to copy the voices. I used to watch cartoons every evening and it made learning fun. Another tip is to join online groups for English learners. Even if you're at home, you can chat, ask questions, and practice writing. I joined a small group, and it helped me stay motivated. You can also practice by describing your day in English before sleeping. For example, today I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth. I had breakfast. I practiced English for 15 minutes. Doing this every night trains your brain to think in English naturally. Another method is to use apps for vocabulary, listening, and speaking. I use small apps for 5 to 10 minutes every day. It was easy and I could practice anywhere. You can also practice by reading children's books. They are simple, fun, and full of useful words. I started with very easy books and slowly moved to longer stories. Another tip is to set a goal for the week. For example, learn 20 new words, write 3 pages, or speak 5 minutes every day. Small goals are very powerful. You can also practice by using English in your hobbies. For example, cooking, drawing, or playing games. Use English words and sentences while doing your hobby. I did this and it made learning more enjoyable. Another tip is to celebrate small achievements. If you read 1 page without mistakes or speak 3 sentences clearly, give yourself a small reward. I did this and it kept me motivated. You can also practice by listening to short audio clips and repeating them many times. Repetition helps your brain remember and your mouth learns the pronunciation naturally. Another method is to read your old writing and notice progress. I did this every month and it gave me confidence. You can also practice by pretending to be a teacher and explaining words to someone. Even if it is imaginary, it helps you speak and think in English. Another tip is to take breaks and rest. Learning is important, but your brain needs rest to grow. Short breaks help you stay focused. You can also practice by using English in small daily activities. For example, when brushing teeth, washing dishes, or cooking. Say the steps in English. I brush my teeth. I wash the dishes. I stir the soup. Another method is to combine all skills. Listen to a story, read it aloud, write a small summary, and then speak about it. This strengthens listening, reading, writing, and speaking at the same time. You can also practice by labeling new words in your home. When you see the word every day, say it aloud. Your brain will learn it naturally. Another tip is to use English when thinking about your plans. Today I will practice English. I will read a story. I will write sentences. Small daily sentences are powerful. You can also practice by reading short articles or news in English. Underline new words, find their meaning, and use them in sentences. Another method is to make small dialogues and act them out. Pretend to be in a shop, a restaurant, or a school. Speak aloud. I did this at home, and it helped me feel ready for real conversations. Another tip is to be patient and gentle with yourself. Do not push too hard. Learning at home is a slow process, and every small step counts. Celebrate small progress and stay motivated. When you continue practicing at home, it is important to make English a natural part of your life. Do not think of it as studying all the time. Instead, think of it as a game, a small challenge, or a habit you enjoy. For example, you can start your morning by saying, "Good morning, Ariel. Today I will practice English." You can smile at yourself in the mirror and speak a few sentences about your day. When I started this, it felt funny, but it also motivated me to start my practice. Another way to make learning natural is to include English in small daily tasks. For example, when you cook, think about the words, "I cut the onions," "I boil water," "I stir the soup." When I did this, I started connecting English words with my real life, and it became easier to remember. Listening every day is also very important. You do not need a long podcast or a difficult story. Even 5 minutes of listening is good. Choose a short story, a song, or a video and listen carefully. Repeat the words aloud after you hear them. I did this every day and my brain started recognizing words naturally. Another method is reading aloud. Choose a simple story or article. Read slowly and clearly. At first, you may make mistakes, but it is okay. Slowly, your pronunciation will improve. When I read aloud every day, I noticed my mouth learned the movements of English sounds. Speaking to yourself is another powerful method. You can talk about your day, your feelings, your plans, or anything you like. For example, I am happy today. I will read a story. I will write in my notebook. Speaking aloud trains your brain and your mouth. I did this every morning and evening, and slowly I became more confident. Another useful way is shadowing. This means listening to a speaker and repeating at the same time. You copy the rhythm, the pronunciation, and the pauses. I practiced this with short stories and videos. At first, it was very hard, but after a few days, I could speak faster and more naturally. Shadowing also improves your listening because you notice small details in the sounds. Writing simple sentences is another way to practice. You can write about your day, your thoughts, or your dreams. For example, I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. I practiced English. I started with very short sentences and slowly added more details. Writing every day helped me remember words and express ideas. You can also use a vocabulary notebook. Write new words, their meaning, and a sentence. Review them often. I did this every day, and after a month I had many words I could use easily. Another way is to use flashcards. Write a word on one side and the meaning on the other. Test yourself every day. I use flashcards for new words and sentences. This helped me remember them quickly. Another fun method is to watch movies, series, or cartoons in English. Start with subtitles in English if needed. Repeat sentences, copy the voices, and try to act like the speakers. I used to watch short videos and repeat small parts many times. Slowly I understood more words and could speak the sentences myself. Listening to songs is also very helpful. Choose a song you like. Listen carefully. Repeat the words and sing along. At first it may be difficult, but after a few weeks your pronunciation improves and you remember new words. Another tip is to think in English. When you do small tasks like cleaning or cooking, say the actions in English. For example, I sweep the floor. I wash the dishes. I make tea. I did this every day. And slowly thinking in English became natural. You can also make small stories in your imagination. Pretend a small adventure happened today. Write it or speak it aloud. At first, your sentences may be short. Like I go to the market. I buy apples. Later, add more details. I go to the market. I buy red apples. They are sweet and fresh. This practice helps your brain think creatively in English. Another method is to review old writing. Read what you wrote 1 week ago, 1 month ago, or more. Notice your progress. I did this every month and felt proud of small achievements. You can also practice by pretending to talk to a friend, teacher, or famous person. Speak your sentences aloud. For example, hello, how are you? I am learning English at home. What do you do today? This prepares you for real conversations. Another important tip is to set small goals. For example, learn 10 new words a week, write 1 page every day, or speak 5 minutes every day. Small goals give you motivation and a sense of achievement. You can also use apps for listening, speaking, and vocabulary. Even 5 to 10 minutes a day helps. I practice this at home and could use it anytime. Another fun way is to use English in your hobbies. For example, if you like cooking, follow a recipe in English. If you like music, listen to English songs and try to understand the words. I did this, and it made learning enjoyable. Another method is to celebrate small victories. Every time you finish reading 1 page, speaking 3 sentences, or learning a new word, give yourself a small reward. This keeps you motivated. You can also practice by labeling things in your home. Write English words on sticky notes and stick them on objects. For example, mirror on the mirror, table on the table. Every time you see it, say the word aloud. Your brain learns naturally. Another tip is to pretend you are teaching English to someone. Explain a new word or sentence, even if it is imaginary. I did this, and it helped me speak more confidently. Another method is to combine skills. Listen to a story, read it aloud, write a small summary, and then speak about it. This strengthens listening, reading, writing, and speaking at the same time. You can also take short breaks during practice. Every 30 minutes, stop for a few minutes, stretch, drink water, or breathe. It helps your brain stay focused. Another tip is to use English while planning your day. Say, today I will practice English. I will read a story. I will write 3 sentences. Small daily sentences help your brain think in English. Another useful method is to read simple news articles or short stories. Underline new words, look up the meaning, and make small sentences. I did this and slowly I could understand more words. You can also act out small dialogues. Pretend to be in a shop, a restaurant, or a school. Speak aloud and imagine the conversation. This prepares you for real situations. Another tip is to be patient and gentle with yourself. Learning English at home is a slow process. Every small step counts. Celebrate every success, even the smallest one. You can also practice by speaking about your day before sleep. For example, today I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. I practiced English. This helps you think in English naturally. Another method is to use English in daily routines. Brushing teeth, washing dishes, cooking, or cleaning. Say the steps aloud in English. I did this and it helped me connect English with real life. Another tip is to use repetition. Repeat words, sentences, and short stories many times. Repetition helps your brain remember and makes speaking easier. You can also combine listening, reading, writing, and speaking in one practice session. I listened to a story, read it aloud, wrote a small summary, and spoke about it. This method strengthened all skills together. Another tip is to stay motivated. Find something that inspires you to practice every day, like a favorite quote, a small reward, or remembering your progress. Your home is your safe space, your English garden, where every small action adds water and sunlight to your learning. When you continue your practice at home, it is very important to make English a habit. A habit means doing something every day without thinking too much. You can start with a small action like speaking one sentence in English every morning. For example, today I will read a story. I will write 3 sentences. I will listen to a short video. When I started, it felt small, but over time these small actions added up. Another way to make English a habit is to choose a fixed time every day. It could be morning, afternoon, or evening. I chose evening because it was quiet at home. Every evening I spent 30 minutes practicing English. At first, I did not feel much change, but after a few weeks, I noticed that my brain was ready to learn every day at the same time. Another helpful tip is to mix different skills in your practice. For example, start with listening, then read a short story aloud, then write a few sentences, and finally speak about it. This method is very powerful because it trains your brain to use all skills together. I did this every day, and slowly I could understand more and speak more naturally. You can also practice by making small dialogues. Pretend you are in a shop, a restaurant, or at school. Speak aloud to yourself. For example, hello. Can I buy apples? How much is it? Thank you. Acting like this helps you prepare for real conversations. Another important method is repetition. Repeat words, sentences, or short stories many times. Repetition helps your memory, and your mouth becomes familiar with English sounds. I repeated simple sentences every day until I could say them without thinking. Another tip is to use your hobbies to practice. For example, if you like cooking, read the recipe in English and follow it. If you like music, listen to songs in English and sing along. I did this, and it made learning fun. Another method is to write about your day, even if it is only 3 or 4 sentences. Write about what you did, what you saw, or how you felt. For example, I woke up at 7. I had breakfast. I listened to a story. I felt happy. Writing helps your brain think in English. Another tip is to use a vocabulary notebook. Every day, write new words, their meaning, and a sentence. Review it often. I did this, and after a month I had many words I could use in speaking and writing. Another way is to use flashcards. Write a word on one side and its meaning on the other. Test yourself every day. I used flashcards and noticed that my memory for new words became stronger. Another fun method is to watch movies or series in English. Start with subtitles in English if needed. Repeat sentences aloud and try to copy the voices. I watched short movies many times and repeated sentences slowly. It helped me understand more words and speak better. Listening to songs is also very helpful. Choose a song you like. Listen carefully